up, everybody? It's another edition of the Orangebloods Texas Football Channel, although today it's Texas baseball, as we had announced last week our first NIL deal, our very first one with Ivan Melendez from the Texas baseball team. We get him on the channel for the first time. Ivan, how are you, man? It's good to have you doing all of this big project with Orangebloods, but I've really been looking forward to our first conversation like this.
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure. I want to thank you guys for taking the time to record me and interview me.
We're going to get to chronicle this entire year, which means right before this interview started, we were having a COVID conversation about how strange the last year for you has been from, doing everything via remote for you. So last year it was all Zoom. This year it's going to be different because we've got this documentary of sorts that will be your entire final year in college. It'll be a little bit different. I'm curious to see what it looks like when all of this is done, and we've had quite a story to tell.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I'm looking forward to experience the whole UT thing instead of, doing it online and just participating in baseball, and I get the whole package. So it's going to be a fun year for sure.
On one hand, I was going to ask you the question, are you disappointed to be doing this interview? Because on some level, if the draft situation goes differently, if you're drafted higher and you're just in a different position than it ended up kind of unfolding, maybe we're not having this conversation. Is it a mixed bag? I would imagine, like you said, to be able to participate as a full UT student and to kind of get that experience, it's kind of hard to put a price on what that'll mean.
Yeah. No, I'm not disappointed. This is kind of my whole plan. I was, shooting my shot on returning to Texas from the get-go. I kind of let teams know that, and they just draft me just like as a just in case type deal. But I have 2 seasons of eligibility left. Hoping, this is my last year and I'm going to make it the most. So, yeah.
Well, first of all, we haven't had a real chance to talk before. Like, congratulations on a monster season last year. The team had a great year. You've earned a nickname. Like, when does that ever happen that fast?
Yeah. It was just all of a sudden, one day in the fall, I walked into the facility and just the coaches and half the guys are just yelling random nicknames at me. And I guess they chose the one that everybody liked the most, and it stuck. And obviously kind of went viral for a second. So
when I first went to Texas in 1994, God, that makes me feel old. I worked with a woman in the sports information office. Her name was Amy Stabler, and her dad gave Magic Johnson his nickname. So it was kind of cool. Like, he's the guy that came up with Magic Johnson. Do you know who the first person is that came up with Hispanic Titanic? Because it really is an unbelievable nickname.
Yeah, it's Coach Miller, as a matter of fact. Coach Miller.
Really?
Yeah, we're in the batting cages about to throw some BP, and he's just blurring out some funny names and stuff. The dude's a classic, He's a character for sure.
How does that happen? He says it. Were there enough guys around? Was there one person around that heard it that was like, that's good? It has to, something has to happen for that to stick.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just the description fit me perfectly. So everybody knew like that was the one. They're like, yeah, that's your new nickname. And then 2 days later, everybody has their own, name tag on their water bottle. And then they put Hispanic Titanic on mine, which I thought was funny. And it stuck. So
I think it's the best Texas. Look, I can't think of a better nickname for a Texas baseball player. Honestly, in all of the years I've been doing this, I don't know that you're ever going to get called by your name ever again. Like, I think that people just like walking around saying that out loud.
Yeah, no, I know for a fact. I see it firsthand.
People are walking up to you and they're just hitting you with the Hispanic Titanic. And then that's what you get?
Or Titanic, or just Titanic,
Just Titanic.
I'm not even Ivan anymore. When I say my name's Ivan, they're like,
what? Let's talk about being on campus a little bit. I'm kind of, as part of telling your story, I think that it's more than baseball. And really, we're going to get a chance to learn a lot about you over the course of the next few months leading into the baseball season, because there's not as much baseball as there would be during the season, obviously. So learning about who you are and this experience of going through college, is there anything my kids go to tomorrow's their first day in the second grade, and I'm a little bit nervous, but
Yeah.
it'll be your first day of school at some point where you're in class and
Yeah.
kind of back to some normalcy with other people around. What's up? Do you have you even thought about it much?
No, I mean, I'm just looking forward to joining school just like your kids, after going a whole year of just playing baseball in online school. The only time I'd go on campus is just to go pick up my food at the tank, at the football field, or I would walk around campus just to see all the trees, just to get some fresh air and, leave my apartment and whatnot. So, yeah.
Who's your inner circle on the baseball team? Like if when we start going into these videos and learning more about you, do you feel like there's a core of guys that's your inner circle of friends? Who will you talk
Yeah.
about the most?
Yeah, most definitely. But I mean, I would say that most of the guys that I look up to and hung out with this past year either got drafted or graduated, or they're gone or ran out of eligibility. But I would say, like, from like the guys returning, I would say Cam Constantine, Dre, Pete, Payton, Doug, a few others that I can't name off the top of my head. But I mean, we all gel together. We're a pretty good group all together.
Is there a question that you find yourself getting asked more than any other when when the conversation of the baseball team and the baseball program comes up?
No, I mean, all the questions are based, they're all baseball questions. How did it feel to hit that home run? Where were you, how well were you seeing the ball? How you feel about, playing this, playing that, game this, game that. And just, I feel like everybody just asks baseball questions, but I want everybody to know that I'm more than just a baseball player, So.
Tell us something about you that's not baseball related. What's something that people learn about you and maybe surprises them once they get to know you a little bit? Let us dig a little deeper here.
That I'm just like into nature and stuff. I love hiking. I love swimming, running outside, lifting weights, boxing. I try to read, my Bible here every other day, or at least, once a day when I get the opportunity to. But yeah, man, that's my life so far. Nothing crazy.
Tell us about I'm curious about the nature thing. So
yeah,
walk me through what would be like the perfect nature moment for you?
Probably going on a hike. I have this one trail that's like 45 minutes from my house in Las Cruces, New Mexico. And I go there, and it's kind of like a dripping spring. There's water. Once you make it to the top, there's like a little 5-foot pool, probably like the size of a jacuzzi. And I just go in there, and it's kind of like rewarding once I make to the top of my, trail on my hike. And I just hop in there, refresh, and just kind of like meditate and just, look back at things and just think,
Do you have a spot like that in Austin yet? A place that you can it's different kind of nature, but tons of
it. Yeah. Actually, I went like maybe like 2 or 3 times. I didn't really have that much time because of like everything going on during the school year. But Dre showed me one hike I don't even know what it was called, but it was so much fun. It led down to like some lake, some creek, and we were skipping rocks and stuff. So it was pretty fun little getaway from baseball. So.
All right, I'll ask you one baseball question and we'll wrap things up here. We got a lot of videos that we'll be doing over the course of the year. So a lot of time to unpack a lot of different things. Walk me through what it's like to hit a baseball over a fence. Like, walk me through the exhilaration of hitting a home run, a big one. Like, because I think that I first recognized you as a player from that moment, right? The first time Ivan Melendez kind of announces himself as I think a Texas baseball player is in one of those moments. And I think the exhilaration I can feel you have when that happens, I've never had that in my entire life. I'm curious what it's like.
Yeah. Well, to begin with, before the pitch is thrown, before I step in the box, I just try to control my breathing and stuff because, playing at Texas, it's kind of like playing in the pros. You're playing in front of thousands of people and just, the crowd's roaring, your heart's racing, your hands are getting sweaty, you're getting tense and all that. And you want the exact opposite of that, before you get in the plate. So once, the pitch is about to throw the ball, I kind of just slow down and just, block out all the, everything, all the noise and all that. And once I hit it, it usually feels like nothing because you hit it on the right, part of the bat, the sweet spot. And for me, I'm pretty strong compared to like a lot of, people my age. And I just know when I hit it on the barrel and the catch is a little bit of air and I catch it out in front, I know it's going to be a home run. And I start trotting from the get go. And yeah, man, when I'm trying the bases, I try not to, act a fool, try not to draw too much attention to myself. So yeah, man, that's about it.
I lied. I have one more question. The bat flip is so in vogue these days. I mean, every time I see Tatis Jr. do it, like it makes me smile. Do you?
Yeah.
When you have a post home run reaction, is it planned out in advance? Like, have you programmed yourself to not react a certain way, or in the moment, does adrenaline kick in? Like, explain it to me how your reaction goes down.
Yeah, most definitely. It's definitely the adrenaline that kicks in. Sometimes you just want to just drop the bat and trot like you've done it before. But sometimes, like, just being in the heat of the moment and the adrenaline, it's going to make you want to flip the bat or, go all crazy and, before you do your little curtain call and all that on the tops of the dugout. So I would just say it's in the moment,
Do you, like, if I were to say your number one bat flip home run reaction, is there one that comes to mind immediately?
Yeah, probably the one against Kansas State. Some guy threw a inside, hanging curveball, and I turned on it. And it wasn't the bat flip that I liked the most. It was like me, like, walking like 2 or 3 steps out of the box after doing the bat flip. Like, I don't know, it felt good. I mean, obviously, the one that people think of the most is the one at the College World Series when I come to mind. But I wouldn't say that was my favorite. I just thought I was kind of like too aggressive on that. But I mean, I've had a bunch, so.
I'm going to go back and try to find that Kansas State one just to see if I can find it on video and have an idea of what it looks like. Ivan Melendez, Texas baseball team. Hey, we've got to name this thing too. So let's, I mean, it could be as simple as the nickname and what else do you need, right?
Yeah. Or like introduction and something else, whatever.
Yeah, we've got to figure out what we call it, but I think it kind of names itself. The Hispanic Titanic. I feel like I shouldn't even say anything else. Ivan, safe travels from El Paso to Austin over the course of the rest of this weekend as you do that. And we'll talk to you when you get to Austin. Really looking forward to these videos. And like I said, to be able to tell your story really is an honor, I think, for Orangebloods to go through this entire kind of trip with you. And I'm really looking forward to it. Thanks for doing it with us.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to represent me. And, I'm proud to be a part of the fam. So
it's going to be a lot of fun. Have a good rest of the day, my man. Take care.
Yes, sir. Take care.